Hey, Mel.
Hey, Saeed.
How are you doing?
Oh my God, so much better now.
Me too.
Now that the dynamic duo is back together.
We are back together.
Yeah.
I went to Paris.
Oh my God.
Yep. I am international now.
Balance International. Are you going to change your handle?
I might.
You know what? I approve. I approve this change.
The International Balance 510.
Yeah. Well, no, you got to take the 510 off because that's.
Oh, because it's
you know
not
what I'm
international.
saying?
It's
You
not
can't-
international.
No,
Right.
unless you want to do a plus one. You know?
Plus, yeah. In Paris, Disney was Disney Plus. And I was like, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
How are you?
I am so excited to
Come
dive
on.
back into the pod. You know,
Me too.
the strike is over.
Yes. Hooray.
The writers are back.
We won.
Back in business, baby.
Right back on the block.
That's right.
Yes, I love it. Today I have a special guest, a friend of mine. He and I were in the Nickelodeon fellowship together.
Oh.
Like my brother from another mother, Adam. Hey, man.
Hey,
How are you?
I just walked into here. I don't even know.
Welcome, Adam. We're so excited you're here.
We are.
Thank you.
Brother from
We are.
another mother. That's a huge compliment.
It is. Like,
Yeah.
me and him went through
War.
like, I know we went through war. Like, Adam and I were the last people to get staffed in Nickelodeon, and we would just talk to each other like, are we ever going to get staffed?
Yeah.
And it was like a no, huh?
Does it feel like you're the last kids left at the orphanage?
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow.
It's like, can I have some bread?
Yeah.
Or
Some water.
A staffing kit.
Yeah, I'll take the staffing gig over the bread.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much how it felt. And we ended up both getting staffed at the same time on Flatbush Misdemeanors, which was
Yep.
dope. Yeah, so yeah, man. Real quick, crazy. So you were staffed on Flatbush and then went into Charmed. You was like 2 in a row, man.
Yes, it was kind of weird how it happened. I was in the Nick program with you, and then we were both shadowing on different shows. And Flatbush Misdemeanors was one of the shows we were shadowing on. And we were there for like the first month or so, and then
Yeah.
they were like, "We love you both."
Employ us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they employed us. And then at the exact same time that offer was coming through, I got an offer to join Charmed.
At the same time, see, I didn't know that.
It was
part.
like the same week.
Oh my
God.
Talk about a rare
I know.
situation.
Seriously.
Yeah, it was so weird. It was just like, because when you're in the program and you're seeing everybody else do stuff, and both of us-
Everybody was getting staffed,
Yeah.
not us. Like, let's just
and we
keep
were
it
just so antsy, and we were so like just waiting and waiting. You're just kind of waiting for your moment, and then 2 at once, and I was like, oh my God, how do I do both? So I was able to do Flatbush. This was like right before the holidays, so I did Flatbush until the holidays, and then after the holidays, I switched over to Charmed for the very end of the room for that season.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. And
Yeah.
how was it being in your first room, being in Flatbush? Like how?
Well, luckily, I think because of the program, because we were able to shadow in other writers' rooms first, it wasn't like day one of Flatbush was like day one of being in a writer's room.
Yeah.
So luckily, we felt a little bit more prepared, I would say. But luckily, the first show I shadowed on was Star Trek Prodigy on Paramount Plus, RIP. And not Paramount Plus, but Star Trek. And I mean, that room was so fun and everyone was so welcoming, and I was so scared to say anything and talk and, participate, but it was just so welcoming, and they, after a while I got very comfortable, maybe too comfortable. I was just like, I'm part of the room. And so I feel like I sort of carried that energy when we were
You did.
on Flatbush. I was just kind of like, let's just pretend like we work here, and then maybe they'll hire us.
Yeah.
And they did.
They
Oh my
did.
God. Now, I've got a question, Adam.
Yeah.
What's Saeed like in the room?
Oh, God. Of course.
Well, this was all on Zoom. So he always just had the same background, nondescript, closet doors. We were never totally sure. He said he was in the Bay. We didn't know.
Yeah.
He could have been anywhere. He was just, the same as he is in any environment, just like so chill and so just like listening, a lot of listening.
Yeah.
And then when he would pitch, he would get really serious. But yeah, you were good in the room.
You were too. I think I was. It's funny because in the beginning, I think Adam was more seasoned or more comfortable in the room in the beginning than I was, and like kind of seeing him kind of help me get a little more calmer. But like it's funny because I think even somebody else was like in the beginning, like I didn't talk as much as I did later. Like it was a little. It was like it took me like a couple weeks to like get into what I could bring and what I could do. So, but I think you did benefit from like being with the Star Trek, and I remember like Adam came in like we both came in nailing shit though. That's one thing I do know. Like it was like we were on a trial period, but like he was nailing shit, I was nailing shit, like big shit where we were like, oh, they gotta like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, they
need us.
Yeah, and then they got us, but.
Yeah, we were the glue. They couldn't have made the show without us.
Yeah.
How many people were in the room?
That's a good question. I can't even
There's
remember.
like 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and two showrunners.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 showrunners who are also the co-creators
And the stars?
co-stars. Yeah.
I mean, you two are so different and you have like such a different energy. So now I'm so curious about like what everyone else was like. So Saeed's the kind, so it's like he's not pitching on every single thing, but
Hell
then when
no.
he does, like you pay attention.
Yeah. I mean, so he just has that presence. You know what I mean?
appreciate
He does. He
You know,
does.
you just listen to when he talks.
I appreciate
You're like,
it.
I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds good.
and that's why I'm here. Hey, and that's why I'm here.
Said every girl in LA.
Literally. No, literally.
Fun fact on Hinge, I don't do text. I do voice messages.
Oh my
Well,
God.
of course he
Love that
does.
classic.
Of course
Fun
he does.
fact, but
It's his greatest asset. You think he's
Yeah.
gonna?
You're right. Everything else is downhill after that. But
But also, you know, like my therapist would say, like women, like men fall in love with their eyes, duh. But like women fall in love through their ears.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I'll go with that. But yeah, no, like it was different. Like I feel like Adam was very funny and just free kind of with the pitching and stuff. I felt like it was almost funny because it was like Adam would just, which I respected, like Adam would just pitch in. It was always good shit. But he wasn't afraid. Like, it didn't seem like you know how some people say, don't talk too much. Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't shut up.
Yeah, like, I feel like you were like, you definitely weren't like, I'm going to, like, be quiet back here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely depends on the room, depends on the vibe,
Yeah.
you know, because we've definitely, in part of shadowing, been in writers' rooms where you're not supposed to talk as much, maybe. And they make that clear to you in subtle ways.
Yeah.
But I think having the dynamic that we had with the people that we had, with Kevin and Dan and Devon, who was the showrunner, they just created an atmosphere that made it really warm and really like, you know, it didn't feel like judgmental. It didn't feel like there was a hierarchy of, you know, well, this person pitches first and then this person pitches, or you can't pitch on that because whatever, politics, or because of, you know, it didn't feel like there was huge egos. So I think that really helps, makes me feel comfortable. So I think, I mean, definitely I was like so scared and so nervous the whole time.
Well, shit, you were a good faker.
Well, that's the beauty of Zoom. They can't see the rest of my body fidgeting and, you know.
What was the like, how was it going from, because you went from Flatbush, which is a Showtime explicit rated R show, to Charmed, which was a CW
Explicit rated R.
right, explicit rated R show. So how was the difference between the two rooms, and was it seamless for you, or did you like switch into a different thinking cap? How was it?
It was so surreal and strange because, I mean, those two shows, just what they are and what they're about, and
Completely different.
just completely the opposite. And but weirdly, the rooms were both so nice and so welcoming. And I was coming in like literally for the last 2 episodes of the season that they were breaking, which ended up being the last season, RIP. everything I work on gets canceled.
Kind of R.I.P. Flatbush misdemeanors too.
Oh my God, you've kind of got the Midas touch of canceling shows, don't you?
It's a disease running rampant through the industry.
So yeah, it was, everyone was so nice. And I think, you know, it was like towards the end of the room for them and towards the end of the season, and no one was really sure if they were going to come back. So the energy was a little, you know, people were tired. It was the end of a long season. And, so I think I was able to bring kind of new energy and excitement because I was like, you know, fresh.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, you're like a breath of fresh air.
Right.
Because I was like pitching on things and I was excited about stuff because I was like, I want to participate and do stuff. And everyone else was like, okay, great.
That's tight.
And yeah, and it was cool to be able to see, because on that show, because on Flatbush, we were there before production started, and on Charmed, you know, it's a network show, so they're in production as, you know, they're in pre-production, production, and post-production all at the same time, and in the room. So it was cool to sort of briefly get to see into those windows of things, and they actually let me stay on for like a couple extra weeks so I could shadow one of the writers as he was overseeing his episode.
That's
so I got to like sit in all the production meetings and pre-production meetings, and it was so cool to see like, oh wow, we were just talking about this a month ago, and now they're like figuring out how to make this a reality.
Things,
yeah.
That's dope. And Jeff Lieber was the showrunner of that one, right?
Yeah, and Joey Falco and Nikki Rena. Yeah.
Jeff Lieber is dope. He's one of my mentors, and it was funny because we have this running thing, Mel, where I had went up for Charmed years ago. Didn't get it, but then you got it, and I was happy. And Jeff was there because Jeff.
Is this where we fight? This is where you confront me.
Yeah, this is where we.
This is why I'm on the podcast.
This is why you're on the podcast. It's actually a setup. It's not a podcast.
Yeah, we don't even have a podcast.
Right. This is. I'm not even looking at questions over here. This is like, you know.
Oh, there's questions.
But yeah, Jeff Lieber is dope. Definitely want to shout out him. Jeff. Yeah.
Love you, Jeff.
So how I quit the podcast.
No, go ahead.
How was the interview process for staffing for Flatbush and then for Charmed?
Well, for Flatbush, I think we just met with them. Was that together or separate?
I think you met with Devon first. I think I met with Devon first, and then I met them. Kevin and Dan. Yeah, was that how it was for you?
Yeah. And with that, it was more like, I think they were just checking to see if we weren't weird, because we were just shadowing at that point. So it didn't really feel like, I didn't feel a lot of pressure. It just more felt like a vibe check.
Vibe check.
And then with Charmed, similarly.
Did you have those interviews at the same time too?
No, I can't remember when that was, but
that
one definitely felt more like this is like a job interview.
Right.
But it was also, I think by the time you get to that point, it's kind of like, it is just a vibe check. They're just seeing if you're like not crazy.
And that wasn't a part of Nickelodeon though, right?
No, I did get it through
Nickelodeon. Okay, that's cool. Okay, interesting.
Shout out to Kate Blatchford.
Yep, Kate is the coolest. Let's take it back a little bit. What made you want to enter Nickelodeon anyway? Of all the things, of all the fellowships, why Nickelodeon?
I wish I could say that.
No, keep it
because
real. Yeah, keep it real here.
I love Nickelodeon. No, they don't pay me anymore. So I just applied to everything.
Me too.
And just kind of threw everything at the wall and see what stuck.
Yeah.
And honestly, with Nickelodeon, that was probably the one that I was the least enthused about, because
me too.
I was like, I don't think that's the right fit for me. I don't really see myself there, but I might as well try. And then when we were like semifinalists or whatever, I was like, what?
Yeah.
and I remember the first interview was like, I was just like, they're not going to pick me. So I felt that was weirdly freeing, because I was like, well, I'm not going to lie. And I'm not going to be like, Nickelodeon's always been my dream, even though that is true of some people who are in the program and apply to the program. But for me personally, I was like, I was more of a Disney kid.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even really watching Nickelodeon. So my knowledge of it wasn't as strong. What
did you say in the interview then? Were you like, this was my last choice?
Yeah.
Good question.
I mean, in hindsight, it feels like I just kind of negged my way into it, where I was like, fuck animation, fuck fuck Nickelodeon. I hate
Like,
kids.
we like this rebellious
But-
attitude.
But I don't think that's how it actually was. That's how I remember it.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember. I don't know. I think I was just trying to be myself and was just like, well, this is an opportunity, and like any opportunity I will take and learn from. And so it doesn't really matter where it's coming from. So yeah. So I think they just appreciated my honesty
and did
and my writing, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I mean, you had to get in. And so let me ask you this. What did you write to get in? What was the spec, and then what was the original?
I wrote a spec for Pen 15.
I love Pen 15.
Yeah, that's a show.
I miss that show so much. Yeah, my spec was like, they become convinced that they need a gay best friend in order to be popular.
That is such a good storyline.
I love that.
Yeah, so they just like, there's like a new kid in school that everyone assumes is gay. So they're like,
Is his
you're our
name-
new best friend.
Is his name Adam?
No. But I actually don't remember his name. Oh, but yeah, and then he turns out not to be gay. He's trying to like fuck one of them.
Oh my
I
gosh.
love this spec.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's based on Said. No.
Yeah, exactly. I might try that now. Don't give me ideas. No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, really don't.
Canceled.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, and then my original pilot was called Bros, no
Yeah,
relation
that's
to the
tight.
film.
Oh.
Before the film.
Before
actually.
the film.
Oh, way before, right?
Like, I remember reading it, and then I remember later I was like, "Are you
Where's
attached
my
to this?"
where's my residuals?
Residuals, yeah.
I'm going on strike about that.
Yeah.
So Bros is just like basically like a buddy comedy about
Yeah.
two dudes who are best friends. One's gay and one's straight. Oh my
Yeah.
god,
It's
what could
crazy.
happen?
I know, hilarious.
And then it ended up being me and Saeed.
Yeah, exactly.
I manifested us.
You did.
So yeah, that's what I wrote.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
I have a question. This is a two-part question. It's in regards to Charmed. A, were you a fan of the original? And B, how do you approach doing a reboot of a show that's so well-known and beloved?
Good question.
With Charmed, I had never watched the original show.
Okay. It's kind of like Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because like that era of like WB time, I was there. Like I loved Smallville and Gilmore Girls and stuff like that. But for some reason, Charmed, I was like, that's too gay. I can't watch that. I'm a straight boy in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it didn't last long. Just a phase. And so I never watched Charmed, and I hadn't watched Buffy either until recently, so that was great. So I was kind of like fresh in so many ways to come into this room because I was like, I don't know anything about the old show and barely knew anything about the new show. I mean, like binge watched the whole thing before I started, and they were like, yeah, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, great. And the new show is like totally separate. So I didn't really need to know anything about either. And I think they wanted me as like a fresh set of eyes.
That's dope. Somebody that's not like a humongous fan. Sometimes it's good to not have somebody who is like a humongous fan of it, like a fan fanatic, like writing fan fiction. Like you could come at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, I think it's like it's more freeing.
Yeah.
And then I can hopefully bring things that they don't already have there.
Yeah.
Because it's also just sort of weird and random to hire a writer for the last like 10 weeks of a room.
Yeah.
So I just kind of, I was just like, I'm going to make the most of this and just try to have fun. Because also it was at a weird time in my life where, in between Flatbush and Charmed over that holiday break, my mom passed away. Oh. And so that was like, everything happening all at once in my life.
Yeah.
And it was, so having work and having Charmed, especially this like fun magic show, was such a nice distraction.
That's
and
dope.
really helpful to have that kind of creative outlet, and also to be in a room with people who didn't really know me, so they weren't like all over me in terms of like, how are you?
Are you
How are
okay?
you doing?
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So it was kind of like a full just escape. But it was so strange to like have waited so long, like your whole life. It's like, I wanted to be a TV writer, and then to finally get my first 2 jobs, and then to have this other thing happen at the same time was so surreal. But it was also like, I don't know, I was glad that my mom was there. Like she knew that I got those jobs and was really excited about it. So it kind of felt like, because she was always not skeptical, but like,
mine too. Like, what's going on in your life, Adam?
I mean, she was like, okay, like you're doing this.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, literally. So like, it just felt like my whole life, it just kind of validated like, okay, so he's gonna be okay. Settled. He's gonna do this thing. It's gonna work out. And
that's so dope.
So yeah, but
you know, the real part is, do you feel, because this is the way I feel like without a fellowship, it's super hard to get staffed. Do you feel that the Nickelodeon fellowship not only was a good experience, maybe you could elaborate on some of the stuff you did learn that you used in the room, but also do you feel like without Nickelodeon fellowship, do you think you would have got staffed?
I don't know. I mean, I think moving here when I did, because I went to grad school at NYU, so I was like very, you know, I have my MFA in dramatic writing, and like
I got rejected from that program.
I got rejected too, so
it's okay. Yeah. You didn't miss much. But I thought it meant something, and not that it doesn't mean anything, just lots of dirt. But I came here and I sort of thought like, well, I have my MFA, where's my job? And Hollywood was like, who are you?
Yeah.
This was a humbling time, my first year or so. And so I don't really know what would have happened and how I would have made things happen without the fellowship. But I think, you know, it's like I said earlier, like whatever opportunity you can get, you take advantage of. And, you know, I never would have guessed in a million years, like I would get into the Nick program and like that would lead me to be on like a Showtime comedy and Charmed, you know? So I think it's hard to predict and hard to say what would have happened without it. But I mean, I'm so glad and thankful and grateful that it did happen.
Yeah. So enter everything, listeners out there. Like,
you never know.
Yeah, I try to tell people like, just shotgun approach it.
Yeah, because I feel like I had such a specific like thought process of like how you're supposed to get into the industry or get into the room or, you know, whatever path. I was like, I didn't realize that there were so many different kinds of paths and no one's path is the same. And being in the program actually helped me sort of see that in a bigger scale because we were meeting all of the alums that have gone through the program. And some of them, they were just finished the year before, or some did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And you just see how different all of their careers are and where they were before the program and after the program. And it just kind of showed me like, oh, like everyone's doing something different and everybody's path is different. And so I know from the other side of it, of like waiting for something to happen, that can feel really discouraging because you feel like, well, if anything could happen, nothing's gonna happen. Yeah. But I think it also is, you know, encouraging because it's like, well, anything can happen, and you know, you never know how things will pay off or how, what opportunities will come from other opportunities that maybe you didn't think about as big opportunities at the time. So, yeah. I don't know if that answers the question.
Nah, but what do you feel like you got out of the program? Like, so if somebody's going to enter, like if somebody's at home thinking about, okay, well, Adam made it, Saeed made it, I'm going to enter Nickelodeon. What were the things you got out of it that you think were beneficial?
Is this sponsored?
Sponsored by Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
That was good.
You like that one?
Yeah.
You should do music.
I know. See, this is what I dealt with all fellowship.
No, literally.
That's good.
It was so funny to be like, here's Saeed. He like used to be this like hardcore rapper, and we would be like digging up his old videos.
Oh my God, would you play his old videos?
Yeah.
No, he saw some of them. Money float.
Every time.
I hated every second.
There was a video I saw.
I hated all of this. Oh, you talking about the one with
on YouTube.com
where the woman threw money in my face? Is that
there's a lot of women. I don't know what the casting process was for this music video for Balance.
Yeah. I don't think that was a question though. I think the question.
I actually forgot the question.
Like, how did we get into my career? All right, so
Two writers talking shit about Saeed.
I know. Actually, Adam's the new co-host.
Sorry.
This was my exit. This was really my exit. This was not a But no, like, what did you learn out of the Nickelodeon program that you felt like was beneficial?
In the program, I feel like it was just sort of a crash course in everything, in learning how to talk about yourself, learning how to meet people, which sounds weird, but it's just a very specific kind of meeting these like generals and meeting any industry people and other writers too. It's like you have to learn how to conduct yourself in a way.
And those emails, remember those emails?
Yes, the emails.
Oh my God, we used to have to email everybody after like they like drill, like you learned how to write a follow-up email.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. What would they tell you to put in the follow-up email?
Well, just like it's just like a thank you note that had to be a
Kind of specific though. Yeah.
Because I always like put a little, like, for my follow-ups, I mean, that's like if they give me the email address. If they don't, there is no follow-up.
Well, I know. Well, now the irony is like most of these things are going through your reps. So you're like,
right, you don't have that.
I don't have their emails. So I'm like, they're
like
saying thank you for me.
Exactly. I'm like, I had someone to follow up for me. No, if they offer the email, of course, I'm like, I set an alarm 24 hours later, I send it.
Yeah.
But if they don't offer the email, I don't ask for it because then it sort of feels like...
Stepping on their toes.
Exactly. Yeah. That sort of feels like at an end of the date, you're like, we should do this again. The other person's like, It feels like that.
No, I asked for their home address.
Yeah.
I asked for their phone number.
Social security.
Yeah.
But no, what we put in it pretty much is like, hey, nice meeting you.
Yes.
And then they had it where we had to bring up like 2 or 3 things they said in the meeting that resonated with us, which I thought was kind of different. Was like, hey, when you spoke about this, character arcs, like that really resonated with me. So it's like you had to make it kind of personal. You couldn't just be like, hey, thanks for meeting me. Bye.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think at first, like early on in that, it definitely felt
rough.
it was really hard and it felt really like
forced.
Forced.
Yeah.
But I think it's important, and I think the idea around that is just like remembering that even though maybe these meetings are for quote unquote connections or whatever, that it's still just a person that you're meeting. And because I know now, because now we're sort of on the other side of things sometimes where people are coming to us for advice, which I'm like, good luck, girl. That's my advice.
May the force be with you.
Yeah, literally. And then you're getting those thank you notes back and you're like, oh, this is so silly. But, I want, if I'm meeting with someone, for them to feel relaxed and to feel like normal. And I think that's the main takeaway is like, oh, if you can connect as people, that will take you so much further than any other aspect of that meeting of like talking about your writing, talking about, you know,
I also think the art of the follow-up is like lacing your personality through it, right? So it's like, I think it's so good that they like sort of like drilled down into you to sort of reference, something that resonated with you. Like I always try to, like if we've talked about something, like I'm like, oh, I watched this show, or I listened to this podcast, like I think you would love it. I'll always like, I'll link to the podcast, or I'll link to like a trailer of the show. Or if like, or if I said that the exec like looks like someone, I'll end with like a paparazzi shot of that person,
That's tight.
But it's like, it's got to feel authentic.
Yeah.
Another thing which I feel like Saeed told me that you worked on Nickelodeon, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that you sort of work on a personal pitch for yourself. Do you remember what yours was?
Oh, Jesus. I don't remember what it was exactly. It's long.
Is it long?
It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was definitely 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah. I'm sure I could, but I don't want to.
What were some pieces, though? I remember you had something that was funny, though. You're like, I'm from this place.
I mean, it was just, like, I'm from Colorado Springs.
Right. That's
like,
right.
Yeah, conservative.
Right.
Military town. My parents were in the Air Force.
Yep.
I was just this little gay fish in this.
In the pond? It was
I was a big gay fish in a little pond.
I love that.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
What's funny is by the end, we knew everybody's business. Like, it was like, it got said so much that we would just Like, because we would be on Zooms and we
Yeah.
would like, it's like, okay, we're meeting with this person. And then we go around the
Yeah.
room and then like Adam's going, and then like we kind of knew everybody's
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Like Hunter had one where she was
Yeah.
like, I'm from Florida or crocodiles or some
Yes,
shit, right?
yes,
and it was
yes.
just like, Angel wasn't there long enough to.
No, I still remember hers.
Really?
She's from Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga, that's right.
She worked at Target.
Right.
She wanted to do like track, and she had a career-ending
Right.
injury.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, okay. But she would
Oh
See,
my
these
God,
things
they
just
stick with you.
I know, but I
But
have
so because you're all in the Zoom together,
Oh,
so
we
like
hear
when
it a
the
million
when the
times. Oh my
other
God.
person is
Oh,
doing
we're
this,
mouthing it. Like,
you're-
we're like-
but it's like you're doing your like your
Spill.
performance of like this
Yup.
is so interesting.
Yeah,
like
literally.
like you're doing your fake laugh, like when she
Literally.
says that thing, you're like.
Yeah.
I've never heard that joke before.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I have to confess that by the end, I was muting Saeed. During his pitch.
I can't even. I think mine was like rapper turned screenwriter,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
something. So I can't even remember the rest. That's so.
I know.
bad.
I would like mute you, and
Yeah.
then Kate, who's our boss, when
She
she
could
would
see
laugh,
it?
I would like pretend. to
Oh,
laugh.
there you laugh. Okay, yeah, because that was the thing.
Because I was like,
we
oh,
had to-
she's like, oh, this is this joke.
Oh,
We got it.
we
my
had to
God.
we had to act like every time like
It
it
was
was
so-
the first
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Like it really was
Yeah.
a performance.
It's like watching like your
Now
best.
all the people who've met with us are like, what the fuck?
yeah, you fucking lied to us.
Well, they don't listen to this podcast. So.
I know.
All of them.
But so that's a really good log line, right? It's
Yeah.
like I was a big gay fish in a small conservative pond. That's an
Yeah.
excellent, and it really sticks with you.
Yeah.
I hope so. Well, hasn't got me a job since, but
We will. We'll still
Yeah.
will.
but yeah, I think what else did we learn? We did a whole pitching workshop. We did.
You were good at that, I must say. Like I remember,
Yeah.
I remember seeing the pit. Like I was like, fuck, man, like this pitch and shit. But you seem like very calm and like,
I wasn't.
oh,
I'm just a
see,
big
once again,
faker.
he's just a fucking faker. I gotta take these. I gotta take some notes.
Yeah,
But-
you just gotta fake it.
Yeah.
But yeah, pitching was really hard. One of
Yeah.
our pitching workshop, we had to. It was like we were preparing our pitch, and then he was like, "Okay, we're gonna practice it right now."
Yeah,
And then
oh,
he
shit.
was like, "You can't use your notes."
No notes.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
long? How long is the pitch?
I think it's like 10 minutes.
You remember I bombed? Do you remember when I bombed? The
Well,
first time?
because we were like, none of us were prepared. None of us were like ready to.
Oh, I bombed
to
big
do it.
time. I think he was like,
You did?
If I
Yeah.
remember, he was like, "Did you prepare?" And I was like, in my mind, like, matter of fact, I did, buddy, all night. But
Yeah.
I remember he was
no.
like, "Did you prepare it off of this?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
it was definitely like such
yes.
a feet to the fire kind of moment.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, fuck, I had to like, are we allowed to swear?
Oh, of fucking course. But they had one thing that we really liked, which was we all had to work together to make a episode
Oh, yeah.
of a show.
That's when I almost killed Saeed.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What happened? What happened? Tell the listeners everything.
We all had to give ideas damn near. Like we
Okay, so we did like it was like a fake writer's room.
Yeah.
But there were only three of us because it was me, Saeed,
Yeah.
and Hunter, who was
Oh,
also
and
in the
each day
program.
it'd be a different showrunner.
Yes, and then
Like
each of
we'd
us
be a
got a
showrunner.
turn being the showrunner.
Who was the worst showrunner?
Saeed? And well, it's because we didn't at the time we didn't know anything. You know,
Yeah.
we were really just making it up as we went along, and yeah, it was so frustrating because we were all just and because like
Yeah.
somebody had to type,
Yep.
and then we were like trying to write an outline together
Yep.
because basically we just had to break an episode of a Nickelodeon show,
Yep.
like a fake episode, which I think our episode was
It was
really
funny.
good.
Yeah, I thought it was funny
better
too.
than whatever they actually did on this unnamed Nickelodeon show.
They should have used that.
I know.
outline
They could have used
if
it.
They were smart.
But yeah, but it was really frustrating because it was like I think all of us just wanted it to be over.
Yeah.
So we were all just like, let's just get this done. And Saeed was like, let's take this seriously.
So
It's like, all right, good student here.
so fucking funny. All right, so you want to talk about how you got a manager doing the program? So, and first off, Adam was killing in the program.
I can tell.
Like
I can tell.
Adam talks a lot of shit about being like the perfect student, but like we're all writing our pilots because like you have to write a pilot in the program, and like I mean I am having the worst time ever. Like my shit is getting rewritten every time. Hunter's script is getting rewritten every time, and Adam is just like, oh yeah, I'm done with mine. I'm on to the next one. And matter of fact, I'm done with the next one. So I'm like, what? So yeah, Adam was skating through it, but you got a manager in the process. You want to talk about that?
Yes, agent.
Agent. Oh shit! Correct
Yeah.
me, please.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So part of the program in the beginning is we have like one-on-one mentorship with Karen Kirkland, who used to run the program, and she's now my agent. And
She taught me how to outline. Side note, thank you.
yeah, shout out Karen.
Shout out Karen.
Love you,
'cause
girl.
Without her, I wouldn't have been able to outline. And when that outline, because I was beat sheeting, and she was
Yeah.
like, "This is not an outline. You have to write it like fucking pros." And that was the
Yeah.
hard part for me. I was writing like a beat sheet, and she drilled me like fuck. But when I got in the Flatbush and it was time to write an outline, you're like,
Hello.
"God damn, this is good as
Hello.
shit." But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so she worked with each of us one-on-one, and we had our pilot that we submitted to the program, or whatever you wanted, I think.
Yeah.
And then you could basically work on a draft with her, and she would give you notes, and then you would go back and fix
Rewrite
whatever.
it. Yeah.
So she did that with each of us individually, and with me, I was able to work on 3 scripts with her in the time that Saeed worked on one.
Oh my God. Adam just drags you to
he dragged-
absolute hell, doesn't he?
He dragged me across
But it was,
the goal
I mean,
line.
yeah. But the thing about Karen is she's so, you know, she just has specific standards and is really tough and just wants the best out of you. And I think, we just vibed, and she really liked my writing, and that made her want to be my rep, which was crazy. So, yeah, so it ended up being cool, but I don't know.
That's tight.
Wow.
Yeah, he
So
got
and
a minute in the
she's a lit agent and she worked in the program?
Yeah, so she used to run it for many years, and then
I
she became an
see.
agent. But she still comes back and
Okay.
mentors the new kids.
But yeah, she did so there would be like a section. So like we'd have different sections. Like one was we were in improv, right?
Yeah, we had to take an improv class
With
over Zoom.
UCB, right?
Oh my
Was it
God.
UCB?
Yes.
And then and then like Karen had a class where it was like you wrote a pilot with her, you know?
Yeah.
And
And then we all had mentors
Yeah.
Yeah.
that were working at Nick.
Yeah.
And we wrote a pilot with their help
Yeah.
or their guidance.
and then we had like one of the fun ones was when we were in
Oh, the sketch
Dwayne
class.
Colbert,
Yes.
comedian.
yes.
Yeah, we were in sketch class.
That was fun.
Me and Adam had like it was just me and Adam left.
Yeah.
At that point, it was like 4 in the beginning. And we're the
Yeah.
2 like
Yeah.
Y'all
There was
ain't
4 of
staffed
us.
yet? Yeah.
And then Angel got staffed
Yep.
like 2 months in.
Yep.
And then Hunter was
left.
right after that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it was mostly us for the whole year.
then there were 2.
Then there were 2.
Yeah.
And we had
The
that
Forgotten
stand-up
Boys.
class, which was dope. Where
Wait,
we got
who
to
taught
write-
your stand-up class?
Dwayne Colbert. He's a
Sketch,
comedian,
sketch.
It was sketch
sketch.
class. Yeah,
Sketch
yeah.
class.
Yeah, it was
stand-up.
fun.
But it was sketch, so we were doing like little sketches.
Just
Yeah.
the 2 of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Over and over and over again.
And it always came back on us. It wasn't like you had 4. It would be
I
like,
know.
okay, it's like, all right.
Anybody want to
another-
pitch on that?
I'm curious about the outlining process that you learned there that's really specific, because when you're saying a beat sheet, like, are you talking about like that Save the Cat beat sheet?
Yeah.
So when I think of an outline, I'm thinking like every single scene that's going to be in the pilot. Is that what was the process that you 2 learned for outlining?
Well, I never had to do that.
Oh, you never had to outline?
No, because my script was fine.
You were just blowing
Oh
through it.
my God.
Well, I mean, but okay. Well, I'll say what it was for me, and then you probably already knew this, but like, it had to be literally. So like, it's not enough to just list out every scene of a movie or a script, but you had to like actually turn it like a book.
A book.
So I couldn't just say, you know, Harry walks in and meets Jessica. They have a conversation. Like that would be enough if I'm just writing on my own. But she was teaching us how to write it for executives to read.
Yeah.
So it's like a disgusted Harold walks into the room and notices across the room that like you have to write it like a
It's
story.
like a novel.
Yeah,
Like
it's
writing
like
a
a
novel.
novel.
Like in mine, I would put like pieces of dialogue into it as well.
Yeah.
She was like, no, like you
No
couldn't-
dialogue.
Like you like maybe you can get away with 1 or 2 dialogues, but no.
Oh, so she
Yeah.
would say, "Don't put any dialogue in the
Yeah.
outline."
She's like-
Interesting.
you
Yeah.
you had to almost say like and she disagrees with him about this
I
subject.
see.
You couldn't.
So you're
like-
put in dialogue that's like really important.
right, and maybe only 3. I would only try like 3 in a whole
In a whole outline.
Yeah.
So it's really prose like a book, and I wasn't used to that.
Yeah.
But I think in the program because we did outlining at some point, but I think when I was working on my pilot with my mentor, but I think my takeaway from all of that was like, and hearing about Saeed's process is that like, I think often we're trying to, at least I am, because I'm a procrastinator and lazy.
Sure.
And I just want to like create the least amount of work possible for myself. I feel like I'm always constantly trying to like pass over certain parts of the process, or skip things, or like I can fast forward through this bit. But I think it was a harsh lesson to learn in the program that you can't really skip any part of it.
Yeah.
And like I know at least, but I mean everyone's process is different. But I know for me, it's like having a really detailed outline like that is so helpful, and it makes writing a draft so fast. And then you have a draft that's like a really like robust draft that's not like messy and not like overwritten, or maybe a little, but like isn't just like a vomit draft because it's so was so carefully outlined. And then rewriting becomes easier because then you're just sort of fixing small things as opposed to overhauling the whole thing, unless you have to. But
that makes sense. We just got out the strike. How?
What strike?
Oh yeah, you're living in another world where it wasn't a strike, alternate reality.
Sorry, I'm in a pond.
Yeah, I'm in a pond. How was the strike? This is your first strike, my first strike. How was it? And how did you get through it and survive it? Because you survived it, but
yeah, it was wild. It was so weird. I feel like we've had like our specific, I guess, crop generation of writers who are coming up right at this moment, and getting our first jobs and everything. I feel like we just had such a weird string of events,
like COVID, and then we both came in
strike,
during COVID.
Streaming, changing everything for that. I feel like ever since I moved here, like 4 or 5 years ago, it's been a weird time in Hollywood.
Yeah,
and so it just kind of felt like another thing. It just felt like COVID all over again, where it was like, nobody can work, except this time we have to be outside in the heat instead of in our homes.
Yeah. I saw you a lot though. Like I would run into you at different studios and stuff. So that was.
I tried to stop by all of them. Yeah. The only one I never made it to was the main like CBS one.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't go to that one either.
Sorry to those people.
Yeah. All right, I didn't make it to Disney either. I was like at like CBS a lot.
Oh, Disney was nice.
Was
Disney
it?
was chill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the strike was weird. It was just like, I mean, we all know the negative side of it, but I feel like in a positive way, it felt nice to kind of feel equal. And it felt like everybody was kind of in the same boat.
Yeah.
And we were all not working. We were all,
outside.
Yeah. And I think that was really nice to feel.
I agree.
But now it's like, now we're back to the hustle. Now I got to stab these people. Give me a job.
Got to take them down. and with that being said, now that the strike is over, like, what's your mind frame? What's, what are you looking forward to? What are you focusing on now?
Well, staffing, of course, but I think also what was great about the strike was being able to, because, we're like hustling all the time, and we're constantly, like we were talking about our intro of ourselves and saying the same joke 45 times in these meetings to these executives. You just I felt that I kind of lost a sense of like who I actually was, because you're just constantly regurgitating this version of yourself and your story and what you want to write and what you want to say. And I feel like the strike kind of made me pause and kind of reassess and be like, wait, who am I? And what do I want to write? And what do I want to say? And
what did you find out?
I don't know.
Which is
lost. I mean, it was a cool opportunity to like work on things that I had been meaning to work on, and things that I, wasn't necessarily thinking about, would this sell? Would this be a good sample? Would this be whatever? It's just like, I just feel like writing this, so I'm going to, even if it means nothing or ends up being nothing. That's a product or content. It's just like writing, you know. I think because I am such a procrastinator, I put off writing so much. I do not write every day. That's insane.
That's all right.
But when I am being productive and I am writing every day and I am actively working on something, I'm like, oh, this feels really good. I always forget.
That's tight.
It's like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this, because I like writing and I like creating and I like having a product that I'm proud of, and feeling fulfilled in that way. And then like 5 more months go by where I'm like, I don't want to write.
Now,
Yeah, go ahead.
so since the fellowships are going to be opening back up again, what advice do you have for anyone who might be applying?
Well, I think my advice for people applying to the fellowships, it's funny, my friend Zach, I met because he was like a semi-finalist the year after us. And he reached out to me, slid into my DMs and was like, hey, I see you're in the program. Can I ask you some questions? I'm a semi-finalist. And I was like, you seem gay, so I'll help you. And so I like met up with him and I was like, do this, and this. And then he didn't get in. So I was like, maybe I'm not the advice giver. No, I think it's just, it's the same with anything in this industry. There's so much outside of your control. And people will decide things for the dumbest reasons and pick people for the also dumbest reasons, or not pick people for really dumb reasons. So I think having that perspective and keeping that in mind of like, you know, it's not personal to you. The rejections, or even when people say yes, you know, sometimes they're just like, well, I need this kind of person. I need this type of writer or whatever. They check this box. It's like, okay. So I think trying to let go of a lot of that, which was really, really hard, and just focus on, okay, what can I get out of this?
Yeah.
And if it's, you know, fellowships are a great opportunity and a great excuse to write something new and to have a deadline to write something new, and to get feedback from friends that you trust and from other writers that you trust. So you're creating something. So like that's worth it in itself. And then if you make it to a part where you're being interviewed, that's good practice to practice being interviewed, practice, you know, getting those skills, because that's important. And then if you get rejected, that it's like, get used to that, you know,
fast.
So there's like things to learn in any aspect of it. So if you kind of go in open-minded to, you know, thinking about it as different kinds of opportunities for you, then it's less about like, well, why aren't they picking me? And why are they picking this person? Like, I know them, they suck, they smell. And it's like, I don't know, girl, they just pick who they pick.
Right.
And sometimes you're lucky and it's you that time, and other times it's not you, or something else will happen. I mean, there's people who applied to the Nick program who didn't get in and then still ended up working at Nick. Because the other thing is, if you make a positive, you know, impact on them and they don't pick you for whatever reason because they've run out of slots or because X, Y, or Z, they'll still remember you, and something else might come up and they're like, oh, like this person that we met with would be perfect for this thing. And then suddenly you have a job and you didn't even do the program. So you never know. So I think it's just worth it to just have those experiences. Is that advice?
That's very good advice.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Is that a slogan? Someone should come up with that.
I think I saw it all over Paris. As a matter of fact,
just do it. Just do it.
Do it, please. Last question. What are 3 things that you are watching, reading, and listening to that you're excited about or that you really like right now? So, what are you watching right now that you really like?
Well, right now I'm watching the new season of Only Murders in the Building.
Okay. Yeah.
Catching up on that. Okay. Meryl Streep.
I like that show.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah,
she's going places.
I think she's got a career ahead of her. And what are you reading?
Reading, I've been trying to, it's been so hard for me to read.
It's okay.
I read so much in lockdown. Like
the
most books I've read in my life.
Yeah.
And then like the years since, I'm like, what's a book? Can't even hold it. There's no screen. No, I've been trying to read this collection of short stories by Ursula K. Le Guin called Changing Planes.
Dope.
It's really cool. It's like different people go to this airport and they're able to like visit different dimensions and different planets. And so each chapter is like a different little vignette about each place. But yeah, she was a genius.
And what are you listening to?
I'm
listening to two writers talking shit.
Best answer yet. Best answer yet.
And with that being said, Adam, thank you. What is, if people want to reach out to you, like, are you on, I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It's called X. Are you on X or Instagram, or is there somewhere else?
You can reach me on X at Elon Musk.
Oh shit, I need a loan. And a Tesla.
No, I'm not on anything.
All right,
you can,
cool.
if you need to reach out, you can reach out to Saeed,
and I will connect you to Adam. Thank you. This is
Two Writers
Talking
Shit.
Yes.
Plus.
Two Writers Talking Shit is an original podcast created by Melanie Mars and Saeed Crumpler. Our producer is Kayla Guest. Our audio engineer is T. Kelly.
Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you damn well please. All we ask is that you subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and give us a glowing review.
If you're not going to give us 5 stars or any glowing reviews, then why even log on? Save your rants for an open mic.
If you have any questions for us, and I do mean any, you can email us at twowriterstalkingshit@gmail.com. That's the number 2, and then writerstalkingshit@gmail.com.
See you next episode.
Bye.